The new Red Poppy Ranch hats are done, available in both gray and black. Follow the instructions below in the description if you would like one. And again, we just want to thank you guys for being willing to wear our stuff. It means the world to us. Thanks. The mountains are calling and I must go. Not that long ago, my wife came home wearing a t-shirt that had that quote across the front of it. I asked her if she knew who John Muir was. She said no. She just loved what it said. Ironically, at that same time, I had just finished reading every book in the John Muir series. I once heard someone say that if you flattened out all of the mountains in Idaho, the only state bigger would be Alaska. The Rocky Mountains are the marrow of the world. This also is one of my favorite quotes. By the way, if you happen to know who said that without Googling it, you must breathe the same air that I do. I've got 2 gas leaks that I found so far in my system. Using soapy water, I've gone over all of the fittings, and I found 2 places with slight leaks. The gauge is dropping faster than it should. I'm worried that somewhere along this system there might be a pinhole leak from a nail. I may have to go over the entire system with soapy water just to find it. I remember when training to be a plumber, I had the opportunity to work with a journeyman one day, a Mexican guy named Augie. What I remember about Augie is he was about 5 feet 5 inches tall, weighed about 220. He could eat a sausage egg McMuffin in 2 bites. And he checked for gas leaks with a lighter. He told me our first job that day was a leak in an attic, and I'd never dealt with a gas leak before. We drove over to the west side of Phoenix, to a brand new subdivision, climbed up in an attic, and found the gas pipe. I watched Augie reach into his pocket and pull a lighter out. I thought he was kidding, and then he lit it. After getting tired of working on the gas system, I jumped over to the freshwater system and pressurized it. The good news is it's holding pressure, except for the leak at the gauge. I tried to turn around and head back out the attic access, and he looked at me and said, "Get over here." I got back to where he was at and watched him take that lighter, run it along a particular fitting until he found the leak. Once that lighter hit the natural gas leak, it shot a flame out about the same size that his Bic lighter did. I don't know how many times I heard of guys checking for leaks with a match or lighter. But it's obviously not something you should do. Soap and water is good enough for me. When I initially started building the house was going to be a shop. We actually had what's called an ag permit. An ag permit does not require a plumbing inspection if you keep it to one sink and one toilet. This is an Idaho clause. For the most part, Idaho abides by the IPC plumbing standards, but they have their own little quirky codes like this. After realizing it would be more cost-effective to finish this as a house instead of the concrete foundation, I went down to the local inspector and converted our permit from an ag permit to a traditional building permit. I then reached out to the state plumbing inspector, hoping he would have a little bit of understanding to our circumstances. He came out, looked the place over, made it very clear that I was going to have to cut a bunch of sewer lines out. I pled my case. He specified what he was looking for. And the rest is history. I've been putting off making these repairs for a little while, but it's time to get them all done. I have to plumb the house in such a way where it will meet the codes. Another one of Idaho's funny codes is about a 4-inch sewer line outside of the house. Technically, I can have 3 toilets on a 3-inch line. The moment you go outside the house with a sewer line, Idaho requires that you transition from 3-inch to 4-inch. I didn't do this. If I decide to put a toilet out in the shop, like I'm thinking of doing, I'm going to have to replace the 3-inch sewer line from the house to the septic system with a 4-inch. I'm still trying to decide if this is something I'm going to do, and the odds are it's going to have to be done. We may put guest quarters out in the shop for the friends and family that we anticipate having once we're living full-time up here. To have a toilet and a sink out there is the least that we could do. The way that I plumbed the upstairs bathroom sinks also did not meet code. I knew what he wanted, made the changes, and I think we're good to go now. Everything's done. If the inspector's not happy with what I've done now, I just don't know what else to do. The only issue I foresee is the kitchen sink stub out height. should be around 16 inches. It's at 19 because of the combination of fittings I had to use there. Because this was never going to be inspected, because it was going to be an ag building, it was going to be a shop, I didn't initially plumb things in a way where I was that concerned about it. That being said, I've fixed everything that he wanted fixed. I feel good about it. I'm gonna get the last little bit of I basically have to put a hard cap on the old sink, and then I'm gonna order the inspection. I do need to play around with the gas line a little bit. I think somewhere I must have nicked the gas line with a nail or something, because after fixing the fittings, I'm still losing pressure, so I may have to soak the entire gas system down. This is why a lot of the tradesmen don't like this stainless pipe. It can be a pain, but I'll tell you this much: I don't own a threading machine. To do this house in hard pipe, there's no way we could have done it. This Home Flex is probably the lowest on the totem pole as far as the corrugated stainless steel flexible gas systems, gas tight Pro Flex. There's a bunch of them, and I just need to figure out where the last leak is. The inspector wants 30 pounds indefinitely. Some municipalities have links on the time frame. Down in Phoenix, it was typically 10 pounds for 15 minutes. Up here, the inspector said 30 pounds indefinitely, which I have no problem with. I don't ever want to worry about potential propane floating around in my house. So anyway, it was a good week. It's been a while since I got this much accomplished in a week. I feel like I can get the inspections done the first part of next week. And I want to thank you guys again, those of you that have purchased the new hat. I want to thank you guys that are willing to wear our stuff. It's really shocking how many hats we've sold, as well as how far we've shipped these hats. It's really cool to think that people are wearing our stuff around. That means more than you guys can understand to us. So thanks again. Next week will be a great week. We're so close. We're just so dang close to getting insulation and drywall and just moving forward like a freight train. Once that's done, I'm going to be sleeping up here because I've waited so long to get to this point. So anyway, thanks guys.